It recently hit me, but I realized I've been using my Panasonic G7 for almost a decade now. But after a while, I feel like I slowly plateaued and really fell out of love of making videos and taking photos. So introducing my new baby, the Sony a6700, along with this new 60mm Sigma lens. I thought with this upgrade in gear, it would give me a lot more new excitement to film videos and shoot new photos. But now that I got this new and shiny toy, let's see what I can do in. I've never been somewhere so beautiful and clean. But as for the trip, my girlfriend and a few friends and I went to Osaka, Tokyo, Nara, Kyoto, Akihabara, and Shibuya. But something I quickly learned was why Osaka is known as the kitchen of Japan. But what I was really in Osaka for was to meet my girlfriend's family. This was her brother and her dad picking us up from the airport. And I really like how this photo encapsulates how close of a bond she has with her family. It's really admirable. I would say I went to Japan with not too many expectations as to how different the cultures would be, but I gotta say there was a lot of culture shocks. First of all, the trains in Japan are so much more clean than the US. It's a lot more quiet, people tend to mind their own business, and the velvet seats on the metro are so comfortable. And of course, clean. And of course, like any foreigner, we went to a lot of tourist attractions. And when traveling, of course you gotta pick up the food. So we picked up some street food at the Inari Shrine for our travels. But holy tourists are a lot of people there. But regarding this picture, I really like how the top gate is being covered by the tree. Gives it a little bit of a mysterious kind of vibe. But if you can't beat the tourists, I guess you gotta join them. This was in Kyoto and we were able to rent kimonos and walk around for the day. It's really such a beautiful area to walk around and take in. I would say at this point, I was getting a little bit more comfortable using my new camera on this trip. But specifically for this shot, I wish I waited a little more for the sun to set so I could get a nice orange sky. But I'm still learning, and if you have any tips, please leave them below. But I feel like when you're in Kyoto, you must get the matcha. I would say the red bean in Japan is a lot better than America generally. I think it's more sweet and more cleaner tasting, if that makes sense. Even though Japan is not a large country, there are so many different parts of it with their own unique beauty and identity. And something that I realized now that I'm in my mid-20s is nothing beats making good memories with, people you love. So a new goal I have is to travel around maybe once or twice a year just to get out there and experience new things. This photo is really lovely in that it showcases a man's goofy side while there's two Japanese businessmen just trying to get to work. There just seemed to be a never-ending amount to do in Japan. Whether that be feeding the domesticated deer at Nara Park, making couple rings in Namba, and trying delicious food. Something I loved about this trip was trying the authentic versions of food I loved from the US. Special was the eel tempura, and eel is one of my favorite fish to eat. It's such a fatty, tender fish, not to mention how affordable the meals are in Japan. There was also a never-ending line of gacha games. Though I didn't have any issue walking away, I can't say the same thing for the ladies. With that being said, as hectic as the entire trip was, with so many people around me at all times, I still wanted to use this trip as a learning opportunity. To get some shots in with my Sony camera, during the beginning of the trip, I kept deleting the pictures that I thought weren't perfect, but then I realized if you focus on getting the most perfect images, there are going to be so many other moments that you're going to miss out on. AKA, learning to throw away that ego is pretty important in terms of creating. Another thing I quickly noticed while visiting Japan was I found that I enjoyed the more rural areas, not as densely populated ones. One of my favorite non-densely populated city areas was visiting Osaka Castle. Its pure beauty was just a spectacle to see in person, and I really like how the gold is accented here in this photo. Unfortunately, I think this was one of our last days staying in Osaka, and we had to part way with Mina's family. Though that was pretty sad, I'm glad I was able to capture his memories through my photos and videos, and I definitely would have regretted if I didn't get this camera and bring it. While I definitely do think I still have a long way to go when it comes to photography and videography, but as our stay in Osaka ends, that just means that our stay in Tokyo will start. Let me know what you think of the photos and the videos that I shared in this video, as I'm always trying to improve, but I'll see you in the next video in Tokyo.